Today we've got a little bit of Rage Olympics, boys and girls. Strap in. I hope that you're having a fantastic day, but I'll tell you who isn't having a great day, and that is Liberty Safes. You guys have seen this across the internet, the whole snafu with them and the big mistake that they made. They turned into a snowball that is now crushing them. I did a live stream on this topic yesterday. However, I did that because I just simply did not have time to sit down and make a calm, cool, collected video. Everything that I said in that live stream, I stand behind and is correct, but there has been some more information that has come to light as the firearms community does. We did some digging and we have uncovered some more stuff that you guys need to be well versed in. You guys need to know exactly what your trader brands are up to. And if you find this content interesting or informative or compelling in any way, then please interact with the video in some way. It tells the machine that more people need to see it. And what better way to punish brands that have betrayed our principles than to make sure that more and more people hear about their nefarious activities. Today's video is brought to you by Kentuckiana Gunworks, is best known for their research and development into lubrication technology. They use their enhanced reliability oil on a daily basis, but they've started to move into some other stuff, like, for instance, they recently came out with their slings, equipped with a fast adjust that allows you to get out of it really quickly. And they've also recently released their minimalist quick-released sling retainers. KGW offers VSO subscribers a discount, and you can find that information over at the affiliates page. Special thanks to them for making today's video possible. Now, y'all know the backdrop on this one. Dude Bro is involved with some stuff a couple years ago and gets rolled up for it. And in the process, law enforcement contacts Liberty Safe and asks, hey, we would like in this guy's safe. Can you get us in? And Liberty says, sure, no problem. Gives them an access code. Pause for a second, because I wanted to reiterate what I had to say in my short yesterday and my live yesterday. And that is, if that's a constitutionally minded and principled company, what they are going to say when law enforcement contacts them with such a request, cut it. No thanks, bro. There's an emphasis on preserving the property. No, that's not what you want. You want that agency to have to cut their way in. You want them to have to either hire a locksmith or bring some oxyacetylene torches to the premises and cut themselves into that safe. Because if they do that, they have now damaged your property. And if they were erroneous in accessing that safe and obtaining any illegal information from the contents of that safe, then you now have recourse to sue them for a new one. That is supposed to be a safeguard against unauthorized access. And if they are willing to go to the point of cutting it open, then they should have to go to the point of cutting it open. They should not have a shortcut backdoor from the supplier who's supposed to be a constitutionally minded and principled company. But actually, it's much worse than that. If you read the statement that they put out, it was crafted in a particular way to be misleading. But what it actually says is our company's protocol is to provide access codes to law enforcement if a warrant grants them access to a property. Notice that it says a property, not the safe. To a property. So you could conceivably own 2 or 3 properties and they have a warrant for one of them, and Liberty is just going to hand them access to your safe. It's not expressly named in the warrant. It is access to a property. This is a service that Liberty is just running free and loose and handing out to whatever law enforcement agency wants access to it. And that is completely unacceptable. I would say that if you were being reasonable about it, then you would say that at a minimum, for that kind of service to be provided, you would have to have a direct subpoena from the court naming Liberty as part of the investigation. So the court would actually have to subpoena Liberty Safe to provide that information. If you're being reasonable, that's the point at which that I think most people would break towards, okay, yeah, at this point in time, they've got a court order. You basically can't defy a court order without some kind of ramifications. Now, it's up to Liberty Safe if they want to die on that hill or not, and that's to be made by the person who's under the knife at that point in time. But This was something that Liberty Safe's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. We got to be pro law and order. We want to help out law enforcement, and we're just going to start handing them out to everybody who's got a badge. Now, that's what I said yesterday about midday. Late last night, since the making of that video, Liberty has come out with yet another statement that says, and I will quote, effective immediately, existing customers can visit a web page, fill out the form, and have records of their access codes expunged, if you believe them. In addition, Liberty Safes has revised its policies in how it cooperates with law enforcement, gag, and will require a subpoena that legally compels Liberty Safe to supply access codes so long as the access codes exist in their system. Now, this is a positive change, again, if you believe them, but it should have been like this from the get-go. And that brings me to another thing that I said yesterday, and that is that if it was a company policy that you provide, what did they say? Provide law enforcement with these codes when requested, if they have a warrant for a property, then that means you have it written down somewhere. That means you have a standard operating procedure, and that means that that standard operating procedure was read and understood by a whole bunch of people. It was authored by at least one person and was signed off on by upper management. We want that policy published, and we want to know exactly who thought it was a good idea to have that as a company policy. You are beholden to your customers, and your customers demand answers. Anybody who is associated with the thought process that that is somehow a good idea to provide to law enforcement without a direct subpoena from a court should be fired, right? They should no longer work at that company. We do not trust those people at the helm of your company as customers. Now, I am personally not a customer of Liberty Safe, but this whole thing has made it sure that I'm definitely not going to trust them in the future. Speaking of not trusting the people at Liberty Safes, whenever something like this happens, people start digging into things. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, Liberty Safe has ESG all over everything. And sure enough, some of their upper management have made continuous contributions to leftist politicians. Does it surprise you whatsoever that people like this freely gave access codes to law enforcement when the state has acted to tread on somebody's liberty? Does it surprise you that a company who does this kind of activist stuff with the extra money that they have laying around, that they gave up protected, sensitive information of their customers? It does not surprise me whatsoever. But if you do, then that's on you, and I've got a gondola service to sell you in the middle of the desert somewhere, and while you're at it, please go visit my Patreon page. Thank you very much. I want to know what you guys have to say in the comments section down below on this, because I'm very much looking forward to watching this premiere and having an opportunity to read what it is that you guys post about this, because I know that you guys are going to be super spicy about it. In my opinion, this is not enough. Liberty has not brought this full circle. They have not made it right. And in my opinion, they are not to be trusted. The customers have power to make sure that this kind of stuff never happens again. And if that means that Liberty Safe goes down in the process, then that's fine, because there are plenty of other businesses out there that provide this exact same service, and I guarantee you that they are watching very carefully. And they aren't going to make this mistake in the future. I'm going to tell you that right now. If they've got backup codes, they are deleting them as we speak. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. It's excellent to have you here, as always, and hopefully we'll see you on another one here at the VSO Gun Channel. Rage Olympics out.